Welcome to our series of conversations, an initiative of the Hamzaban Cultural Foundation. We've been exploring how we can build a just, peaceful, and prosperous Iran for all of us to thrive in. And there are many elements to this. We've been talking about the role of education, the role of family, the role of governance. And today we're going to be talking about the role of having healthy economies and how we can build a healthy economy. I'm joined again by Dr. Iraj, and I want to ask you how we can create more wealth for more people and really eliminate the extremes of wealth and poverty that we've been seeing in the world. Obviously, all the various different forms of governance, capitalism, socialism, communism, all these different isms have tried to address this issue and have not really been successful. So what are we doing wrong? What must we do, and how must we redefine prosperity, perhaps?
Yeah, I think one of the important lessons that we, in this age, we can categorically register is that we've tried all of these: communism, socialism, nationalism, capitalism, and the one thing common among all of them is that they've all failed. They've all failed to create a society that is prosperous, that is conducive to peaceful coexistence and the development of individuals and groups. So that's some big learning that we need to begin with. Now, if we acknowledge that this is what we have learned, we need to ask the question, how do we create an environment that individuals can generate wealth, benefit from the fruit of their labor, at the same time the society can benefit. It's interesting that in 21st century, a very important realization is that humanity has never ever before been able to create wealth at the rate that we can create them now. And at the same time, quite ironically, we've never had so many poor, in not millions, in hundreds of millions and in billions. We don't have time to go to some of the very common statistics about the extent of disparities of income. But what we do know is that the gap right across the globe, Iran included, the gap between the have and have not has been rising and is growing on a daily basis, because the rich grow by minute and the poor stay at best where they are. The unemployment, for example, in Iran today amongst the youthful population has reached unprecedented levels. That means those who do not have jobs or job opportunities or the ability to participate in the economy, they always fall further and further behind, and those who have, they get richer by the minute. Now, that cannot be conducive to social prosperity. This cannot be conducive to a peaceful coexistence. Because what happens, if you allow that process to continue, even those who have money, those who have a lot of money, they cannot enjoy the benefit of their hard work because they're always worried about the social unrest, they're worried about what the poor will do, what attacks they will receive, and so on and so forth. And again, it's not just unique to Iran. Every society has to rethink the economic system. So what do we have to get right? Back to basics. We need to say, well, how do we enable every individual to be able to unlock their capabilities and contribute to the economy? The paradigm of thinking has to be, how do we create an inclusive, participatory, and fair economic system? In that setting, the role of training, the role of education again comes in. We've discussed it before, but in this particular context, in order to remove, reduce, and systemically control and manage the disparities of wealth and income, is that the system of governance, the system of taxes, and the use of taxes becomes absolutely central to making sure that the economic system is fair. Education is important, training is important, and also instilling in individuals that work is something that everybody should do. Dependence on the society is not conducive to prosperity. And importantly, we need to cultivate a culture within our families, within our societies, within our educational systems, that participation in social activities, in business activities, irrespective of the nature of the participation, in itself The very fact that individual is trying, striving, in itself is something praiseworthy. Not that you have to always be an engineer or a worker or architect, or doesn't matter. As long as you try, as long as you participate in, where you begin is less important than the spirit in which that you begin, and where you end is how much work you do. So these are the elements that we need to integrate into our culture, into our mindset of those who are in power. And by power, I do not mean just political power. Corporate power is very important. And therefore, if we put some basics in place, which includes in individuals, the willingness, the excitement about participation, for the system to recognize, to respect, and reward it fairly and equitably, for the nation to get taxes from everybody and distribute those taxes for those who are in need. Now, these are the elements of the national dimension. Of course, the issues of wealth and poverty has got international dimensions. No nation these days can have a system that is delinked from, or if you like, entirely dependent upon the national resources. So we need to also, in this context, have a discussion about what's the global system of resource utilization, resource allocation, and the framework within which the nations that are left behind from an education, technology, media, etc., can be brought into the global system.
And it seems to me that one of the prerequisites of being able to achieve this is to have a mindset that we are all interlinked and deeply interdependent, that our affairs are so enmeshed that we can't afford to prosper on the backs of others, because it simply will come back to haunt us at some stage. But the other thing that really is important to me is redefining prosperity. Is prosperity chiefly a material thing?
And the short answer is no. Material success, wealth, income, is a precondition, is not a sufficient condition. We need to redefine prosperity based on, if you like, a matrix or a set of indicators, of which income, wealth is very important. But it's very significant as to how we earn that income. Right. If you are apparently prosperous because you've stolen everything, or you have abused your power, or you have corrupted the system, whether it's the corporate system, governance system, whatever system it is, trade system, if the acquisition of material prosperity is done or achieved through improper means, then that's not prosperity. That's pretty much corruption of prosperity. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, if you have achieved whatever you've achieved through appropriate ethical means, you are entitled to enjoy it, but the element of prosperity is the pride and the satisfaction that you take in whatever you have achieved. Then you go one step further. If you define prosperity in being in a position that, yes, you've acquired, you worked hard, you've accumulated wealth, but now you're in a position to serve others. So you're excited about material prosperity because it then enables you, like a ladder, to go to the next level of prosperity, which is the utilization of your material means for social good.
Wonderful. That has given us a lot of food for thought. We'd love to hear your thoughts as well. What is sustainable wealth? What is sustainable prosperity? And how can we build it? Please visit us on hamzaban.org or find us on social media, which is Twitter and Facebook.